What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Ira and we do project management on this channel. I got a good one for you today, so let's get straight into this video. Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to do a proper project handover for when you're going on vacation. Now we all need a break, especially project managers, because you know the work is stressful. The work is stressful sometimes. We need a break. Guys, I encourage you, if you have not booked off annual leave before the end of the year and now you're going to miss days, book in that annual leave right now. Book it in. We all need to rest. It's so important. And sometimes you will need to take annual leave when your project is in flight or going through a critical time. That being said, hey, if you are a good PM, as I know you all are because you've been listening to my content, well done you. When you go on leave, your project is gonna be in a good state. And guess what? Someone's gonna have to cover you when you're gone, especially if you're going for a long period of time. Now, when you get back, the hope is that your project's also in a good state. And a way to try to make sure that happens from the beginning is by doing a proper project handover to whoever will be covering for you while you're off. In this video, we're gonna go through how I would do a proper handover to give yourself the best chance of your project still staying, you know, in a good place when you get back from leave. Y'all better pay attention to this, because when you come back from leave, whether it's in a good place or a bad place, you're the one that's gonna have to deal with it. And the person that covered for you, they're just gonna go back to their own project. So you wanna give them the best chance possible to hold it down in a controlled manner. Let's get into this video. First thing you're gonna do is have ample notice of your leave, especially if you're leaving for anything more than a week. Tell your boss, tell your team, tell your client, by the way, on these days, I ain't planning on being here, so don't be planning to do nothing crazy during those times. I advise you heavily to send a meeting invite into their calendar to say, hey, I'm going on leave on these days, so it's blocked off in their calendar as well. This way they also can't say that they didn't know. It's in their diaries. Whether they decide to accept it or decline it is their own wala. You said it with your own lips. That's all that really matters. Letting your boss know is also especially important so they don't add on extra load during that period of time where you're likely to be out. If you're on a big program, I would say try to give at least 3 months notice where possible, and then start to remind them verbally also as the weeks till your holiday is coming up. Number 2 is to agree with your boss who's going to be covering for you during this time, and also try to make sure that they're competent. Try to make sure that they know what they're doing. The sooner you know who's going to be covering for you, the better for you, because then you can start inviting them to your regular meetings maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you go on leave, so that they can get to know the team, they can understand the project more, where you're at, what your upcoming deliverables are, and some of the key activities that you guys are doing at the moment. It's better for them to already be intertwined and have a good knowledge of your project, rather than just telling them the day before and saying, hey, this is what needs to get done. Context is really key here if you want there to be good continuity when you go on leave. You want it to feel as though, hey, there isn't a distinct break in your project because the project manager's not here, but instead it's a smooth transition so no one's really disrupted. Number 3, and this one is key. If you don't do this, hey, just accept that they'll do anything and everything on your project, is to have a well-documented handover document. So I'm gonna actually go through on the screen now what kind of things you should see in your handover document. This is something that I quickly put together when I went on my 3 weeks leave, and it worked really well. Just to let you guys know, there's not a lot of information in it because obviously I can't give you details of my project, but this is just to give you a feel of the kind of things that you need to include, and also the level of detail of what you need to include as well. Let's have a little look. So this is the quick and dirty handover document that I put together, and it's really simple and intuitive to use really. It's just an Excel sheet, or you can use like Google Sheets, whatever you have access to, with different tabs of the key things that you need to include in your handover document. So let's look at the first tab here. We have key tasks. It's key for you to spell out, literally spell out and write down in as much detail as possible per week what are the key things that you expect to happen. So for example here, I've got a column that says week 1, then I put work stream. I work across multiple different teams effectively, or I have a lot of different teams doing a lot of different things for my project. So I've even split it up into hardware design, test, mechanical design, drivers, bootloader, admin. It may be whatever it needs to be on your project. I'll then have a description of what the main deliverable is that needs to happen, trying to keep it as detailed as possible in terms of when it needs to be complete by. Really key, guys, that you put dates in place, otherwise it's gonna dance on to whenever that PM wants it to dance on to. I then put actions in there, what I need to happen, which relates to this description. Try to keep it as detailed as possible, say by which date. Okay, once this is done, what needs to happen, by which date, etc. Literally step by step. Try to imagine you're still working on the project, and theoretically, if everything went well, which is what we're hoping for everything to go well. Theoretically, if everything goes well, what would happen? Literally map it out like a story, and that's how you should write your actions. And then lastly, you put who your kind of technical leads are, or the people that if the PM that is covering for you needs to call on to do some of these activities, who do they need to call on? If it's a group of people, I say you need to pick one person. Don't just put this team if possible, because then it's harder to identify that person. You've got to remember that the PM that's coming on board hasn't been there throughout the life cycle of your project. They don't have the full context. So if they have a direct person that they can go to, it will make it a lot easier. And make sure that that person you put down on paper is aware of the actions as well, and that they also have as much context about the description of that deliverable. So I would do that for literally as many kind of deliverables that need to happen, or as many ongoing actions that need to happen, and then split them out by week as well for how many weeks you are going to be off. Moving on to the next tab then, this is just a really high level, hey, these are the key milestones and these are the things that we're tracking towards. All it is, it's got milestones. Here I've got builds because in my line of work, those are our milestones, and the date. Literally put the milestone, put the date. And this doesn't show that much information, but it's just so that the PM knows at a glance, okay, these are the main steps that we're working towards. If someone asks them, hey, what's the next milestone coming up on the project, they don't need to start, we don't know what I'm doing. They could just come straight to the document, look at it, and be able to give those informations as well. Oh yes, this one's key. This one is just project data. It's a list of all the key kind of information that someone might ask that PM for. So everything from the financial, what are the project codes? If someone needs to book some time to your project, where do they book it? For example, your cost center, if you have one, VAT number, if you have one. Just start to think, hey, what are things that people have asked me for randomly that I just need to hand? Just put it in one place. If there's any escalations that are beyond their control, who do they go to? For the technical side and also for the PM side. And then most importantly, in my opinion, is the project team. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Don't let that poor PM who's covering for you have to find out information or chase people to say who deals with this, who deals with that. Write down everybody that you could think of that touches your project and write them in their name in there, as well as their role, so that it's easy to navigate. If they come up with a problem and they don't know where to go, they can look in here and see, hey, this problem is about engineering, or it's about the industrial design or mechanical design or product. Hey, this person will probably know about it. Do you get what I mean? And do the same for external vendors. Especially with external vendors, try to put the company name in there, because there might be multiple companies that are working with your project, and also their email address, because you might not be able to find that so easily on your repository within your company, because obviously it's an external vendor. Moving on to the next tab then, we have the key documents, and here we're literally just going to have all the key documents that the person who is working on your project is most likely going to either need or to reference during your time on leave. So that's everything from your action log, high level schedule, low level schedule, your current design of whatever you're building at the moment, SharePoint links, share file links, Confluence links. If you have Jiras and you work in an agile environment, you need to be putting the key Jiras in there. The key here is to make their life easier. Don't let them go and search for that information, because guess what? They're gonna need it, and you're on a little beach drinking a mimosa by the ocean and they can't find it. And then all of a sudden they're just gonna make up whatever they got to make up. Oh no, we don't want that. I want you to use what I said needs to be used. So you need to allow them to find the information they need. Make sure you add links to where all of these documents are kept, whether it's your SharePoint or wherever it may be. Add in the links, or if it's just a document that is on your hard drive and you can't upload it somewhere for whatever reason, bad idea, but whatever reason, put an attachment there. Also put what date it was last updated, just in case there's a dispute over the document. We can say, okay, as of this date, this was the accuracy of this document. Something may have happened post this date and now it's not accurate anymore, just so that they are able also to speak to that while you're on leave. If you have multiple projects, make sure you do this for each of your projects as well, and that also goes through your project teams on each of your projects. The next tab is for project meetings. Again, just highlighting which meetings they'll need to cover. So you need to put who's going to cover it in case it's not just one person. You might decide, hey, it might be better for my engineer to cover this because it's a technical meeting, they have more context. That's absolutely fine. What weekday it's on, how frequently it is. Do they just need to cover the first week? Do they need to cover every single week? Is it an ad hoc meeting? Put some detail in there. Who owns that meeting? Like, who actually sets out the invite initially, just so that they have a reference point. The name of the meeting, what time it is, what time zone, key for international teams, any actions that need to come out of that meeting as well, just highlight it there. And if there's any attachments, like, I don't know, the minutes for last week's meeting that they can refer to, make their life easy, guys. I promise you, this is the way that, you know, you avoid your boss trying to text you or WhatsApp you on holiday. Do you know what I mean? When all the information that they're looking for is in one place. And lastly, reporting. What reports does that person need to cover for you? Some common ones are, you know, an executive weekly report where you give the project status report to your higher ups, or budget forecast, usually done monthly. Hey, put it in here. Put the link to where the report or the last week's report is so that they can easily update it, and any outstanding actions as well that you want to highlight, make sure you put it in there. So I hope you guys can see how much detail needs to ideally go into this handover document, and it will take you a little bit of time to put together, especially if you're going away for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it may be. Ultimately, try to be as detailed as you can be, have all the information in one place or links to where everything is, and it will make that PM's job easier and help with the flow of the project. And then lastly, guys, ensure that you are putting your out of office on, both for inside your organization and outside your organization. I see this being missed so many times when people go on leave. They just update their out of office for inside the organization, but within Outlook, if you're using that, there's also another area where you have to say, hey, what's the message you want to send to people outside the organization? Make sure you're updating both, and also ensure that you are putting the name of whoever is covering for you and their email address in that description, so that when people are emailing you, they know exactly who to go to if it's urgent. So yeah, guys, pretty simple stuff, but often stuff that is missed. Don't let it be you. Make sure that when you are now preparing for Christmas is coming. Don't carry last and now be stressing in the new year when your project looks like mayhem. Make sure you're implementing all of these handover tips and you will be in a really good place. All right, guys, so that is it for this week's video. I hope it was useful for you, and if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribing, lots of content to come. Drop me a comment down below. Are these things that you're already doing? Are they things that you want to start doing when next you go on leave? Also, let me know where you're going on leave. You going somewhere nice? Let me know. I like to know these things. We'll leave it there, guys, and until next time, I'll see you later.